1,900 years ago, the world of ancient Egypt still echoed with the legacy of Cleopatra. The queen herself had been gone for centuries, but the craftsmanship, the artistry, and the techniques used to create the footwear of her age survived in the hands of artisans who inherited the traditions of their ancestors. This is not the story of mythical snake-skin shoes attributed to Cleopatra, a claim unsupported by archaeology, but the true story of how ancient Egyptian footwear was crafted, colored, and perfected using real materials, real tools, and real methods preserved across millennia. To understand how sandals were made in Cleopatra's world, we must first step into the final centuries of ancient Egypt. During the Ptolemaic era, Egypt was a crossroads between African, Greek, and Near Eastern cultures. Alexandria, Cleopatra's capital, was a city of scholarship and luxury. Here, master craftsmen shaped leather, fibers, and pigments into footwear worn by nobles, priests, and royal attendants. Leather was the heart of Egyptian shoemaking. Workers used hides from cows, goats, sheep, and gazelles, animals common in the Nile Valley. The preparation of these hides began at the river's edge. Hides were rinsed, scraped, and soaked in water, mixed with lime to loosen hair and remove tissue. Once softened, the hide was stretched across wooden frames to dry. Craftsmen used stone scrapers to smooth the surface, removing imperfections and thinning the material to the proper thickness. When the leather was ready, the shoemaker began the design. Ancient patterns discovered at sites like Fayum and Memphis show solace traced in charcoal. Straps outlined with careful precision and ornamental cutouts marked with geometric accuracy. Using bronze knives, reed blades, or obsidian tools, craftsmen carved the leather into shape. The sole was usually composed of multiple layers for strength. Each layer was stitched using flax fibers or thin leather strips softened with oil. Egyptians were masters of color. They dyed leather using pigments extracted from plants and minerals: red from madder root, yellow from saffron and ochre, blue from indigo, and black from soot mixed with oil. In wealthier communities, vibrant multicolored sandals signaled status. Some dyes were expensive, reserved for elites. Deep red and indigo were especially prized. These colors were applied with brushes made of bundled reeds, allowing craftsmen to paint borders, straps, and decorative patterns. Cleopatra's time blended Greek and Egyptian fashion. Greek-style sandals with curled straps and softer leather became popular among Alexandria's upper class. Wealthy patrons commissioned sandals with fine stitching, braided leatherwork, or inlays of gold leaf. But despite centuries of speculation, no archaeological evidence links Cleopatra to any specific pair of sandals, and certainly none made from snakeskin. The queen's actual footwear remains unknown. All that survives are the techniques used by the craftsmen who served the elites of her world. Inside a royal workshop, the process of shoemaking was methodical and skilled. After cutting the leather, artisans prepared the straps. Some were simple bands. Others were split into multiple thin cords. Straps were threaded through slits in the sole, folded underneath, and stitched tightly to prevent tearing. For elite footwear, straps might be reinforced with extra layers of leather or decorated with colored stitching. Sandals were polished using oils made from castor beans, sesame seeds, or animal fat. This treatment softened the leather, deepened the color, and protected it from cracking under Egypt's sun. Some sandals were finished with resin to harden the sole, making them more suitable for long travel. Footwear also held religious meaning. Priests removed sandals before entering temples, symbolizing purity. Some sandals discovered in tombs appear unworn, placed not for function, but as offerings for the journey into the afterlife. These burial sandals often featured finer craftsmanship than everyday footwear. Their pristine condition helps archaeologists study the techniques used in Cleopatra's era, even though they predate her. In daily life, most Egyptians walked barefoot. Sandals were reserved for work, travel, rituals, or status. Higher-ranking officials wore sandals with dyed edges or detailed embroidery. Children wore simple woven papyrus sandals. Soldiers used reinforced leather soles with thick straps to withstand long marches. To understand the full story of ancient Egyptian footwear, we must look at the resources that shaped it. The Nile flood cycle provided the plants needed for papyrus sandals. Herds of cattle and goats supplied leather. The climate preserved dyes for centuries, allowing modern researchers to analyze pigment residue on surviving artifacts. Workshops were often located near water sources. Tanners, dyers, and shoemakers worked in close proximity. The smell of curing hides filled the air. Apprentices learned by watching masters cut, stitch, and dye over many years. These skills were passed from generation to generation, and by Cleopatra's era, they had reached extraordinary refinement. Some surviving sandals from the Roman and late Ptolemaic periods reveal intricate lattice designs, braided straps, and painted motifs. These reflect the fusion of artistic traditions in Egypt at the time: Greek influence in structure, Egyptian influence in color and symbolism. After Cleopatra's defeat in 31 BCE and the absorption of Egypt into the Roman Empire, craftsmanship began to shift. Roman footwear styles spread across the region. Egyptian artisans adapted, now producing closed shoes, military boots, and Roman-style sandals. Yet many ancient techniques persisted. Traditional dyes, leather treatments, and stitching methods continued to be used for centuries. By understanding how ordinary sandals were made, we gain insight into the broader culture of Cleopatra's Egypt. Footwear reflects social class, economic networks, religious practice, and technological skill. Each pair tells a story about the people who made it, and the people who wore it. And although the queen's own sandals have never been recovered, the methods used by the craftsmen of her time allow us to reconstruct the world she walked through. In the end, the fascination with Cleopatra's supposed exotic footwear reveals more about modern imagination than ancient reality. What truly mattered in her era was craftsmanship, the careful selection of leather, the mastery of dyes, the precision of stitching, and the cultural meaning embedded in every pair of sandals. These artisans, unnamed in history, shaped the daily lives of Egypt's people and the ceremonial life of its rulers. The real legacy left behind is not a mythical pair of snakeskin shoes, but the enduring techniques of ancient Egyptian shoemaking. Techniques preserved in archaeological finds, temple paintings, and written records. Techniques that reveal how people 1,900 years ago crafted beauty from simple materials, how they walked through their world with skill beneath every step.